In the heart of Kenya, wild and free, roams life as grand as life can be. From elephants bold with tusks so wide to giraffes that stretch to the sky with pride. Buffalo stomp with a mighty beat, like drummers marching down the street. Leopards leap like shadows at play, while zebras wear stripes of night and day.
Alright guys, so when we dance, it's because we want to make life interesting. I told you depression in Kenya is real, right? We have a battle whereby the elephant is actually crushing grass under it. So the battle between the elephants is causing the citizens to feel like grass. So welcome to Kenya. Kenya is a land with a lot of controversies, and Life Saga TV is there for you. So I make my life interesting by just analyzing whatever is happening in the government. Now let's begin with the first. The first is the Ruto versus Gachagua battle. Did you know actually that Ruto and Gachagua battle is becoming interesting, as sweet as honey? So for us Kenyans, of course, if you want to be safe, just watch it and find the honey in it. Now the sugar behind this story is that Gachagua of late is trying to set a momentum for his new party. So our question is, will he be able to sustain his party and run through as a presidential candidate? Now remember, there was an interview on this, so watch this.
The flag bearer of our team to run as president. If that doesn't happen, if somebody else is picked, not me, I've given my commitment that I'll support that person.
Rigathi has been meeting and strategizing with other
ya kwamba uko na haki ya kupigania kiti kama uko na kesi kotini na haijakamilika mpaka Supreme Court. John Weluke alifungwa 74 years. Akiwa amefungwa akawachiliwa na board. Akasimama kiti ya Sirisia akapita. Akaendelea. Court of Appeal imemuondolea kesi. Kama sasa angekatazwa kusimama kwa sababu alikuwa na kesi, alafu Court of Appeal imeondolea kesi, angekuwa amenyimwa haki yake. Kwa hivyo sheria yetu inasema kama huja exhaust the legal mechanisms, yeah, you are free to fight for any office. Kesi ya Rigathi Gachagua hata haijaanza.
So right from the interview, guys, you've heard how Gachagua is smiling and is happy that he's going to vie for this seat. Now, what are the reasons he's giving? He has indicated that John Waluke, if you don't know about this, come back to Western. Now, John Waluke, you remember that he had a case, and later on in the appeal, he was, the Court of Appeal let him free. So Gachagua is actually using this ground to argue out and say that he qualifies to vie because he says his case has not even begun. He says that, he does not have accusations that are standing out there. So the aspect of impeachment that we are looking at and saying he may not vie, he is going to be, a candidate. Now, let me just ask you, do you think this aspect of Gachagua getting to run as a presidential candidate, is it for personal selfish interest, a revenge kind of battle that will just let the citizens crash under their feet as Mr. Elephant A fight with Mr. Elephant B? Or do you actually think that is just an interest for the citizens? That's my question. Now, let's look at this fact. Remember, before the current Jubilee, Jubilee became a party, they picked URP and TNA to make it what it is today. Now, we have seen these battles going on and on. And this is why it doesn't become fair for Kenyans, because as these people fight for personal interests, we wonder whether they are going to benefit the citizens, We wonder whether in their battle, they're just interested in looting. Remember recently, in the video I made the other day, Gachagua was indicating how the president has had to loot We don't know because we are not part of this cake. I told you about the big cake. Now we are not on the table to see the kind of cakes they prepare and eat for themselves, or the loaves of bread they keep baking and eat the entire one, even including the wrappings. Now, the move that Gachagua has made, you know, the tour to coast, right? The tour to coast has been an epic movement for this week, if you all are on the media. Look at this.
Pesa ya NSSF Kasongo anachukua kwenda kujenga barabara ndio apate commission ya 10% kwa barabara. Ingine Bomas of Kenya ni yeye ako na.
Now you actually see the kind of crowd that Gachagua is addressing, and his one motto is yeah, one term. So how real is this going to be? And if he will be one term, will Gachagua become the best president for the world, for the country? That's the question I'm also asking. Because if you look at the accusations that were placed against him, if they are really true, are we going to have a better president in Gachagua? Now, Gachagua has decided to make sure that many senators and MCAs that are ready to support him. I hear there's a senator, 4 MPs, and 20 MCAs from Nyeri, you know, Kiambu, Kirinyaga, and Nyandarua, who are targeted to resign. And once they resign, they join him. Now, let me just refer to some point. There was this aspect of rebellion and those who are being weeded out. Will this be a win for Gachagua? Now, I wonder why Muranga, for example, Meru and Tharaka are not in the question. Is it because of Kindiki? I'm not quite sure. Just drop in the comment section in case you think you have a thought about what is happening. Yeah? So the united opposition, are we going to have a united opposition that will work with Gachagua and enhance whatever he wants? Now remember, Kenya's funding for education is actually becoming just a dream for Kenyans. Yeah? Medical health is becoming a dream for Kenyans. Yeah? And justice is becoming a dream. Now this takes us to the next level of a story.
Contravening the parties of Nyeri County Assembly and her Nairobi counterpart, Joy Muthoni Mwangi, are accused of associating themselves with the DCP party affiliated to former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. The party accuses the two of contravening the party's code of conduct by participating and supporting the DCP party.
Don't worry about my looks. I'm here to talk. So when we are in the sagas, sometimes we have to ensure that our eyes can see. Now, one thing that I'm going to talk about is abductions and insecurity versus peace. Yeah? That's one question that everybody's having in Kenya. Now,
was the first to be picked by an ambulance at the Tot Health Center in Elgeyo Marakwet while undertaking a routine checkup on Friday.
Na hiyo ambulance ikakuja wakamchukua tu.
At around 5:30 p.m., Simon Yego was making his last drop-off to the Tot Health Center in a bid to beat the curfew when an ambulance blocked the probox he was driving at Tot Primary School.
Watu ambaye wako armed wakashuka wakamtoa kwa probox yake na kuingiza yeye kwa hiyo ambulance. So sina habari.
The families of the two lodged a missing persons complaint at the Tot police station the next day.
Hata mkono na miguu na ni kama miguu zilikuwa zimefungwa na kamba.
Yego is said to have ventured into transport business a year ago after losing his livestock to banditry.
We remember the story that I've just played. 2 bodies found in Nakuru. Now this man, remember Simon Yegon and Simon Kipngetich. I wonder why the names have Simon. Now one of them, you know very well, he was he was operating a probox, and the other one we have not actually been told about the reality about him. Now he had gone for medical treatment of malaria here, while the other one was having a customer in the probox, and he was taken, then driven up to the border of Baringo versus Elgeyo Marakwet. Then after that he was let out of the probox, and the customer, of course, was being questioned about the death of Father Lois. Now, of course, remember, Inspector Abdi Hassan has indicated that there is no connection because the investigations for Father Alois are still ongoing. So, the speculations, they call them speculations. Whatever that means with speculations, I don't know. But just as you, I am in the, in the world of not actually understanding what's going on. So these two guys were finally in Baringo, and they were found with no hands, remember? Signs of choking, they had been beaten all over, and there is a connection to banditry. So I'm just connecting 1 and 2. I don't know why Inspector is it Eliud Lagat had promised during the burial of Father Alois that they are going to investigate on some proboxes. And now one of the man has a probox and is found dead. Now they had been molested, tortured before their death. So what's going on? Now let me remove my glass just to see the world in another lens. Now my story takes me to the hospital situation, It's like our leaders understand very well the status of health in Kenya, They understand quite well. And they know that they are the haves, They require or they qualify to have the special treatment, whereas the citizens do not deserve any special treatment, You are citizens, so what? So now I'm just taking myself from Susan Kihika, if you understand what I'm talking about. Now Susan Kihika is the governor of Nakuru. Now you understand that Susan Kihika had been away for a whole year, yeah? She had been away for a whole year, and the people of Nakuru were demanding justice. They were demanding that somebody should be in the government serving them. The offices of Nakuru had been dumped, and they were being run like another street, just a social media platform. So many times there were meetings that were being held, but nothing foregoing. So the hospitals, the Memorial Hospital, the Memorial Hospital was not open for almost a year. And you saw Tabitha was there now asking that it is time they have to impeach Susan Kihika. Now, you know very well Susan Kihika is very close to the government currently. And when you are close to the government, you are safe. Let me just refer to my notes and show you why I'm saying this. Yeah? You see, like, I've heard today Joy Muthoni. You know Joy Muthoni from, is it from Joy Muthoni Mwangi? And we have Ann Thumbi from Nyeri. These are targeted individuals who are supposed to either resign, or they'll be suspended, or they'll have to pay penalty. Why? Because they are being controversial to the current their current party that had them nominated. Now, don't forget that Gloria was just let out of the government the other day. No, this is where I tell you it's the elephant battle that is letting the grass suffer. Yeah. So Susan Kihika was claimed to have been in America for a long time, and of course when she came back she indicated that she was having babies. Now listen to this speech and get the controversy of what I'm just trying to say here. Listen to that.
Ona wanaume wanacheka, si hata mabibi zenyu wote wako na watoto. Ni shida nikipata mtoto. Kana mreda nyika tu. Hata wanasema niongeze ingine, miaka nayo imekataa sasa. Aya sasa, si ninaenda kuketi. Toka haha ndagaturetere siasa cia wana tutikwenda. Na ikuru twe thirikari-ine na tuikare thiri. And if this is the end and I become a one-term governor, kwani nitakufa?
If there was As I'm the governor, does it mean I can't have children? Let me ask you something. You all know I'm the governor, right? That means all doctors and nurses in Nakuru County are under my leadership. Now, did you really expect me to lie on a delivery table with the same doctors who work under me? Then, when we go for meetings, will the same doctors be looking at me in the same way? After they've seen me in such a vulnerable state?
I hope you got to the end of that speech. Now, in that speech, you clearly get that Susan Kihika is very proud of speaking her local language, the native language. She does not care whether Nakuru has diversity of people, you know. Nakuru is a metropolitan place for me. That's what I believe. There are Kalenjin people there. We have the Luo, we have the Kisis, and so many other tribes. However, Susan Kiiga, the governor, speaks in her Kikuyu language. I wonder whether the rest of the people understand her. And do you know what she said when people are questioning so much and trying to push that she is impeached? She said, kwani atakufa? She has already found a favor of running 5 years. You know, in Kenya, when you run 5 years already, I've looted enough. Although we say enough is not enough until you are you are dead. That's our policy in Kenya. Now, Susan Kiiga indicated clearly that the Kenyan doctors are not worth treating the locals. That the hospitals are not good enough for women, the maternal care, that is. And that the doctors cannot keep the privacy aspect. You know, I believe in medicine, the little I've read, you are supposed to keep the information of a patient private. Whether you see their morphology or whatever, that does not come out of the labor ward. Now, I understand that many people in Kenya who go for such services, whether they're gynecologists, or any other, of course, you book the private doctors. If you want, you can even book the Indian and whatever. If you don't trust our own African, that is the mess we suffer in Africa. We don't believe in our own people. And such battles as they go on, it is the grass that suffer. So now check here, a situation where the governor clearly indicates that our health status in Kenya, our health institutions, our doctors, the professionals who serve are not qualified. They're not the best. They cannot even keep our private information. So she has to travel for 1 year to America and come back silent with kids. And the question was just that, did she traffic these babies, the twins, or did she really give birth? But then she's here saying the mother, a mother cannot keep moving around with the kiondo or something like that. She's there asking the men whether their women don't give birth. You understand? Now, Susan Kiiga was, disregarded by many people within Nakuru because they were not understanding her situation of going to America for a whole year. And she applied, I think, on grounds of going to have a bond transfer. So you see that controversy of information. That's why I say in Kenya, things are not fair. If it was another worker, maybe a teacher, if it was a police officer, it was anybody, do you think he would have survived their job, having been outside for 1 year, then coming back with stories that don't add up? Now, from this story, of course, I have to get direct to this bloaching. The next story we are going to is this lady, is it Naila Gureshi, who has finally got justice after 20 years, you know? We are told that Dr. Rafik had been suspended in Uganda after a medical practice that was not very correct. So at Aga Khan Hospital, unfortunately, he was allowed to serve. Yeah? So we had this botched surgery that went on. A lady that lost her cervix so that she could not enjoy the sexual aspects. The dancing in sheets became a problem. So later on, we have taken 20 years on this case, right? So that we understand that finally they have claimed that she's supposed to be paid 157 million. Who believes that this is going to be true? In my thought, most hospitals may not give this. They may seek appeal and all that. That is what happens in Kenya, the reality. And then what will happen at the end? There may be just a kick and, hit story. And finally, maybe if 10 years ahead, how old will she be? Yeah? So watch this sad aspect and tell me if Kenya, a battle between the elephant and elephant is not causing a lot of harm to the grass.
The details of that story with Brenda.
What's that story? Here.
The nearly 20-year search for justice for Naila Qureshi has finally come to a rewarding end. Naila was admitted to the Aga Khan
Meanwhile,
Service Kenya.
the week was trending with Millie Wadok story. Did you hear?
For what was
So
meant
the
to have
Millie
been
Wadok
routine
story,
treatment for pelvic
yeah?
endometriosis.
Millie Wadok story And I don't know even why they call her Millie Wadock. Maybe it's because of this controversial man that was a narcissist. But then the story brings another view of influencers. Influencers externally, influencers internally. Now, when I watch this story, of course I'm going to do another life saga on the same, because it is a story that is trending and there is a lot of hidden aspect that most of us have to learn as women, influencers, as Kenyans. So this story is just telling us that we have doctors who are not qualified to serve in hospitals. It is also telling us that we have artificial lives of people out there, because now by today, the family of Millie Wadock is indicating that they need a Harambee or fundraising that will get her the 195,000 rent arrears. And many people are like, even banks call off your loan when you die. Others are like, why can't the houses she had be sold or cast? Then now this money is paid. Others like, how do you live in such a house for such rent? So it's like in Kenya we have dual life, you know. Like now this lady, in the first place, how can a doctor be a narcissist? How can a doctor be using medicine to inject on patients, even the medicine they don't require? How can a doctor be recording controversial videos about their patients? You know, like at some point he was recording the Arabic, the Indian patients when he's conducting operations and they have had this, we call it euthanasia, not euthanasia actually, but when they inject you with medicine and you are supposed to like await further, you know, operations. So this is what it's just telling me. Maybe these doctors are children of the rich, or people who got in through, you know, cat and rat games, and they became doctors, but they don't qualify. So then, this lady has been going through a lot of, you know, harassment. She was brutally beaten by the husband so many times, but love, hey, tell me about love. So she went on until finally she has had to rest. Rest in peace, Millie Wadock. But we hope that other ladies will learn from it, and influencers will stop also living artificial life that is making others chase the cloud, and yet they can't reach you. Now, before I just get to the conclusion of this video, just look at this briefly on Millie Wadock.
Haikutolewa. Alikujanga akaniambia kuna mtu tumefanyia operation Valley Hospital na ikutolewa. Kama wewe ni asili ya Mwarabu na wewe ni mama ulienda ukafanyia operation pale Valley Hospital, jua akona video yako ukiongea after operation. Najua mtu anakosanga fahamu ukiongea vitu zote venye bwanako anakufanya. Kama wewe ni patient na uliwahi tibiwa optical pale side za 58, jua akona picha zako ukiwa operation alipiga.
Now finally I want to talk about this aspect of the Borongo Hospital. I hope all of you have seen this. The Borongo Hospital. Is it even the final? This is the very final story I'll be getting to it. Now there is this old man who is it about 82 years old? He's known as Jackson Nyang'au Mositi. Hey. This old man is 82 years, and of course, even if he dies, he has no loss. But the reality is that justice is worth. And I'm happy that justice was served to him, because the intern that was given insulin injection to put in this man reasoned out. You know, those are very few people. Very few people who reason like that, because we've seen even people are paid 1,000, they kill. But this one rejected. So 2 men came to the hospital looking for someone. In fact, they came up to the ward of this old man. And I tell you, God is watching. This man was with the Bible all the time. And from his testimony, he says he has always been using God, regardless of the people they have been fighting with in the family, accusing him of
Bible, occasionally deeply reflecting from his hospital bed. Despite the pain of his frail health, he says,
nenda kwa reception, mtafute huyu ambao mnamtaka, kama mjini mtafuta nani.
Unknown to him at the time, promising him a 10,000
kama Mtajuaje? Nimemdunga hii dawa. Si twende na mmoja. Huyo mmoja sasa akakataa. Nikamwambia sasa kitu mtafanya kama umekataa, nipea tu simu, niende nayo, niende kurekodi. Ndio mkuja mnipe hiyo pesa.
The two have since been apprehended by police. They named a 25-year-old community nurse whom they alleged gave them the syringe. Police say Fiona Mogere has also been arrested and is currently...
Witchcraft. So, this is witchcraft versus family disputes or land disputes. These are very common in Kenya, by the way. Very common. The battle of the elephant and the elephant that crushes grass. Yeah, so of course the people we can see who could suffer under this scenario are the kids to this old man, because once he dies, if there are land disputes, maybe the people now remaining to take care of everything are these people who are fighting with him. So then the intern decided, no, this case has to end, and I am happy that Fiona Mogere, who was found with pesticide, and the men with the syringe are now arrested. Look at that. Look at that. Now, these are the situation we face in Kenya, and that is why I say, Kenya, life is sometimes very unfair. Very unfair. Now, finally, let me get to the last one, because the rains are here and I can't continue, but we'll meet again in another. We have a situation whereby there was Sang and the mason. You remember that case? It came to a conclusion yesterday. Kirichi village, where the mason was killed, Gregory Kigonyi, was killed by the police. The police known as Corporal Sang, because he could not buy him alcohol. You hear that? So there has been procrastination, but finally the case came to an end. And you can understand what happens, you know. Why should the police use their job to kill people? So guys, bye-bye. I'm ending in the rain and we'll proceed later. Bye-bye. Let's continue with Life Saga TV. Continue subscribing, sharing my videos, and giving your criticism. What do you think I should do more? Bye-bye.